No matter what you're going through, each day that you're alive, you have a choice. You can either make the best out of it, or you can also waste it away. Great men through history have shown us that our surrounding conditions do not have to determine our mindset, and that the human spirit can be unbreakable. Take Viktor Frankl, for example. While being a prisoner in Nazi concentration camps, he developed a mindset that allowed him to detach from his immediate physical circumstances and find meaning in every day. This mindset of his later on became known as a philosophy and a modern school of psychology called logotherapy. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, most of those living in horrible conditions and being treated worse than most inmates. Yet, he continued fighting the apartheid within prison walls and became a mentor to other inmates, teaching them about nonviolent resistance. Even if you're normally a very productive and optimistic person, there still will be phases of your life that you'll fall into a slump, or a funk as they call it. Either that's because you're having your first breakup, either that's because you're in your mid-20s and you don't know what to do with your life, either that's because you lost your job, you're going through a divorce, or maybe there's a never-ending global economical and health crisis that seems to take forever. These are all still part of the normal human experience, nothing that other people through history haven't faced. Of course, it's always tempting to victimize yourself the moment that things feel out of your control. And we've all done this in our lives. I've done it a lot in my early 20s. But at some point, we have to stop playing the victim in our lives, and we have to take things on our own hands and make the best out of any situation that comes along our way. For example, last year, just before the pandemic hit, my local personal coaching practice, which I had been working really hard for about 2 years, was finally peaking, doing really good. And then the lockdown started and all that. And it did feel again tempting to play the victim role. It did feel tempting to fall into a slump. And maybe I did for a few days, but I snapped out of it really fast and decided to just make the best out of the situation. So instead of seeing an obstacle, I made the conscious decision to see an opportunity. I finally had all the time I needed to read all the books that I had been postponing for the last couple of years. I had the time to finally learn how to play a musical instrument and stick to it. I adopted a more minimalistic lifestyle. I got rid of a lot of stuff that I didn't need. I minimized social media usage in order to live my days as intentional as possible. I studied cinematography in order to improve these videos. And I also started writing a book, which I got really excited about and turned into a course. So overall, it was a pretty good year. At least I did the best I could with it. I got the best out of my time, which, left me pretty fulfilled and happy about 2020, even though it wasn't, overall such a good year. And of course, it sucked for a lot of people in terms of health. But still, you can change some situations. All you can do is make the best out of them. Since a lot of people ask me how did I manage to stay so optimistic and productive during this year, I put a lot of thought in it, and I came up with three main reasons, three main tips that basically I wish I could also give to my younger version during any period of staleness. Tip number one is maintain a consistent wake-up time. And usually you want that time to be the same time that you used to wake up before whatever happened that made you fall into your slump. And the reason this helps a lot is because, first of all, the first thing that falls apart during any period of stillness in our lives is our sleeping schedule. We stop sleeping early, we start sleeping really late, our sleeping patterns become pretty irregular. And I find that maintaining a consistent wake-up time might be difficult at first because you're probably, sleeping again, as we said, pretty late and waking up early this way, which doesn't allow you to sleep a lot. But if you stick to a standard wake-up time, fatigue will catch up and you'll start sleeping early again. And the reason I recommend this is because it gives you a sense of structure to your day, and it makes it easier to create a sense of purpose. Waking up every day at X a.m., 7 a.m., whatever that is for you, just makes you feel that you have something to do, that you also are more in control of your day, and you can schedule things more easily that way. Tip number 2 is goals and tiny steps. What do I mean by that? You want to create a list with goals, things that you want to accomplish. I find that when I don't have my goals written down, either on paper or an app, whatever works better for you, I prefer paper. When I don't have that, I never really accomplish anything. And by tiny steps, what I mean again is that you want to make sure that each day you try to make one small step towards your goal, whatever that is. Let's say you want to learn to play the piano, as I did the previous year. Your first tiny step can be browsing online and searching for piano lessons that you think are interesting. Like, make a top 5 list, and you don't even have to choose out of those. You can choose the course that you'll follow the next day. So each day, when you try to take at least one tiny step, the magic behind that is that it creates momentum, it makes it easier in your head, and you usually end up taking a lot more action than that. But by minimizing, the amount of effort you have to put into each goal, it makes it more frictionless and more easy to get started. Tip number 3 is train early. I would say that this was the core of my motivation during the COVID era. This was a real game changer. I started training really early every day because I found that the more I postponed my workout, especially during days that I didn't have any structure, days like these that a lot of people are also going through right now, the more I let my workout for later on, the more I postponed it, the less motivation I had to do it. And eventually it would be late afternoon, I wouldn't have any mood at all to train, and I would just neglect it. But by training early in the day, not only did I never skip my workout, but it also helped me a lot to stay optimistic. It improved my mood. Starting your day like that really gets you pumped. It gets you energized. Your energy levels are a lot better. And it creates this sense of momentum that you can accomplish anything else you want to do after that. It really is, for me, one of the main reasons that I stayed motivated during the COVID era, and I think it was the main reason that I managed to accomplish also all of the rest of my goals. Bonus tip number 4 is minimize social media usage. Now, there have been some interesting documentaries the last year regarding the negative impact that social media probably have. And this is something that I wanted to do for a lot of time. I started doing it about 2 years ago, I would say, when I got rid of Facebook from my phone. And nowadays I've minimized social media down to 5 minutes per day, which is a big change for me. And the way that I got started is I had the following routine every day. I didn't allow myself any social media until I finished working out. I had a shower and I got in a nice pair of clean, fresh clothes. That's another sub tip there. You don't want to be walking around your house when you're going through a slump in your sleeping clothes. You want to put on some nice clothes. That also affects your mood. But that sub tip there aside, The more I did this, the less I felt like using social media. After all, once I was done with my workout, I was pumped, I was in a good mood. I got in the shower, had a cold shower, put on a nice pair of jeans and my favorite t-shirt. Once I did that, I felt the pull of social media a lot less. So the more I did it, the more I minimized social media. I think it's had a big impact on me. I don't know if it's also a little bit of a placebo effect from the documentaries that I've been watching lately, but it's definitely helped me a lot in terms of focus with work. I feel that using social media less empties up a lot of RAM on your brain, and I think it's also improved my mood overall. So give that a try, work out in the morning, and until you're finished with your workout, your shower, and putting on a nice pair of clothes, don't allow yourself any social media. Those were my 4 tips for you. I hope this video helps. I'm pretty excited this year. I have a lot of interesting stuff for you guys. I'll talk about those more in the coming videos, especially if you're interested in morning workouts and building up your own personal morning workout routine. Stay posted. I've been working a lot on a video series regarding that. So that was all for today, and until next time, keep on training.